guys, I am Sneha and you are watching my channel Book Junction. Welcome to another new video. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about a really special topic, and the topic is losing yourself and then finding yourself again. I think because of some life experiences and certain situations, you somehow sometimes lose yourself, or at least it feels like you have lost yourself, and then you find yourself again. So I also went through a similar situation in 2022 where I felt like I really lost myself. I didn't find interest in the things that used to interest me before, and I felt like I was becoming a very different person, not that happy, and in general I felt like I'm not being myself. And then towards the end of the year I found myself again, and I feel like that yes, it's my old me. And sometimes you just want to stick to your older version. We always talk about the better version of yourself, but sometimes your previous version was better, and I wanted to go back to that version of myself so bad, and I think I managed to do that, and I think it's even better now. So I wanted to talk about how I found myself again and what all things I did to do that. Now personally for me, 2022 was the year of transition. I think so many changes happened, all good changes. None of these changes were like bad, but I feel like changes are itself just difficult for people to absorb, and that's why sometimes you just kind of lose yourself in the whole journey because you're so stuck and so fixated over the destination. And I think that's what happened with me. So many changes were happening and I was just so stressed that I felt like I was just losing myself. And also there were like some health issues that I went through, dengue and COVID, and just overall I was sick throughout the year. So much was happening. I think I would fall sick at least once every month, and it was really taking a toll on my health. I want to thank our today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked, which is the global leader of at-home health tests that puts you in control of your own health care. Personally, I love Let's Get Checked because it gives you this freedom to get yourself checked without getting a permission from a doctor. So if you want to see if something is wrong with you, or if you are feeling the anxiety about your health, you can just go ahead and check your vitals, and it's super easy and convenient. And the best part is that you don't have to leave your home, or you don't have to go anywhere to get your blood drawn for the tests. You can just order a testing kit at home, and it will come to your home in a very discreet packaging, so no one will get to know what you have ordered if you want to keep it really private and confidential. And once your sample arrives at the lab, your confidential results will be sent to you on a secure account within 2 to 5 days. It depends on the tests that you are getting done. Also, your results will be reviewed by the Let's Get Checked's clinical team, and you can also choose the option to get on a virtual consultation with their team. In some cases, the clinical team prescribes medication that can be sent to the pharmacy of your choice. Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved and CAP accredited, which are the highest ranking levels of accreditation. So what are you waiting for? Get easy to understand and actionable health insights in 2 to 5 days from the comfort of your own home. Visit trylgc.com/bookjunction and get 25% off on your tests. The link will be in the description box as well, so just click on it and visit the website and get yourself checked. Alright, so now let's talk about all the things that helped me find myself back. And the first point that I want to mention is that I stopped focusing on reading more books. So I always associated myself with books and reading. So I think for me, my personality was always all about reading and books and just all of that stuff, all that geeky stuff. And when life changed, when the transitions happened, and when I was not able to read as much, it felt like I was losing myself. It felt like an integral part of me was just somehow dissolving because of all the changes, and I just felt really bad. I felt like I was not being myself, and it just felt terrible. So for me, my whole personality was all about books and reading. I used to read at least 100 books a year, and it was not like I was setting a reading goal. I am not even on Goodreads, but it would just happen very naturally and organically for me, because I have always been such an avid reader. I just enjoy it without falling for all the vanity metrics that okay, I read that many books. I would never even post about it. But yeah, I used to read more than 100 books a year, and suddenly in 2022 I don't even think I read 50 books. I think I read way less than that. I won't even call this like a reading slump. I would just say that I did not have the time or the emotional capacity to read books. Just associating yourself with a certain activity or a certain hobby, I think that's where we make that mistake. We think that a certain thing is our life or our personality, whereas we are so much more than that, and I think we just do not see that coming. And then when life takes a turn, when things don't pan out like that, you feel like you are losing yourself. But all of this is you. Even when you feel like you have lost yourself, even that part of you is still very much authentic. It's the part and parcel of life, I feel. And in that moment I realized it's fine, I don't have to read 100 books a year. I just need to focus on the experience rather than actually focusing on what I used to do before, because life was different before. So this one thing helped me a lot to slowly find my way into again discovering myself as a person. The second thing that helped me is journaling. I think it's quite self-explanatory. I have talked about journaling so much, but sometimes you just don't really do the things that you believe in, and that happened with me in the last 1 year. I think 2022 was the year when I needed to journal the most, but I didn't. And I think that's what made the year so much more difficult, because I really didn't process anything, and then it would just hit me in waves and I would feel terrible. So to make it less complicated, I have kept 3 diaries, and this may sound very contradictory, but it's not. The first one is the gratitude journal, where I write what I'm grateful for. This 2023 diary, I write my goals every day. I'm trying at least. So whatever I want, not really goals, I won't call them goals, I just want to say that these are the things that I want and desire. I write it in this one. Try to write it every day, so I can just focus on it and do not forget. And this diary is sort of like, I just write random things that I feel and blah blah blah. So these are the 3 diaries that I am keeping right now, and this helped me so much. I cannot really emphasize enough how much it helped me to find myself back. Sometimes when you write something, it just feels more legit, and when you go back and read it, it just helps you a lot. So I highly recommend you journaling. It helped me so much in finding myself back. Next, I want to talk about podcasts. Listening to podcasts helped me in my worst phase. When you feel like you are paralyzed because of all your anxieties and overthinking, sometimes just listening to motivating things and interviews, it just helps you so much to get back to that version of you that wants better things for yourself. That happened with me. I don't really have any particular podcast that I want to recommend. I just go to the YouTube search option and I write podcast and the kind of podcast that I want to listen. Sometimes I want to listen to a podcast with a scientist, sometimes an archaeologist, sometimes a sports person, sometimes a businessman, entrepreneur, and stuff like that. So you can just listen to various different podcasts. You don't have to stick to only one channel. There are so many podcasts and TED Talks, interviews. They are just so good. They really help you to come out of a dark space, because when you see people achieving things, when you see people coming out of their own darkness, I think that really helps you a lot. I highly recommend it to you as well. Another thing that really helped me is watching Netflix, watching movies and TV series. I know that we don't really promote all of these things because apparently it's not very productive to watch Netflix all day. Of course, don't watch it all day. But sometimes to reconnect with yourself, you gotta watch those TV series and movies that you used to love or you watched during your good times, bad times, whatever. Anything that has some kind of emotional connection with you, or anything that you feel connected to. Now that I'm recollecting all the thoughts that I had in the last year, I realized that I was really not interested in watching anything for the longest. I didn't really have any interest in watching any TV series, whereas before I used to watch so much. And I just realized that okay, I'm not really intrigued or curious about anything. But when I actually started watching a few series here and there, and maybe a movie sometimes, it helped me a lot in like just reconnecting with that part of me that enjoys art and that enjoys storytelling, because I think at the end of the day it's all about telling stories. So sometimes I would just go back and watch a TV series that I used to love, and it just made me feel like yeah, I'm close to that person that I used to be, and I can still feel all those beautiful feelings that I used to. Sometimes a movie and a TV series can have so much impact on you. It's really not easy to express it. You can only understand it when you experience it. So if you have a TV series like that, a movie like that, or maybe there is some new thing that you can watch which will help you, you should definitely do that. It really helps you. And I think your world is all about the things that you are interested in. Sometimes you are interested in a movie, sometimes in a TV series, a book, whatsoever. I think that's what your world is made of, and it's really important to have your own world, the things that you are interested in, and to be close to that. So I highly recommend it. And of course, don't watch Netflix all day. I don't recommend that, but sometimes I think binge watching is fine. The next thing that helped me is quite like internal and not really something external. So sometimes you will find that internally in your mind, in your head, you are constantly cribbing, you're constantly whining, and you will just realize that you are quite irritating when you look at it like that. So I realized that in my head, internally, I was cribbing all the time. I was whining about everything, and it really made me a bitter person internally. As people say that your external world is the reflection of your internal world, which is so true. When you're bitter inside, you find bitterness everywhere, and it just reflects in everything that you do. I think that happened to me as well in 2022. I think I was just victimizing myself. I was really in that phase, which is not useful. It's really not helpful as well. So I really made sure, especially towards the end of 2022, that I don't do it. Like every time now that I find myself cribbing or whining in my head, I stop it. Like I just stop it and focus on something else. Maybe like something I watched, maybe a book that I read. It could be the most random thing ever, but I try to switch my thoughts and try to steer away from cribbing and whining. The next thing that helped me is also pretty internal and related to your mental health, and the realization that every feeling is a fleeting feeling. So everything is almost fleeting. So if you're feeling a certain thing right now, chances are you're not going to feel it maybe in an hour or two. So if I'm feeling really irritated or angry or bitter in this moment, I just try to feel that okay, yes, I'm feeling it right now, and yes, I'm definitely feeling terrible, but I try to make it a point that I focus on the part that okay, within maybe a few minutes or a few hours, I will be feeling the opposite of this. I will be feeling happy, I will be feeling better. I try to tell myself that this is like totally temporary, it's not going to last forever, and in a few hours I'll be back to normal, I'll feel better. So it helps me not to drown in negativity and negative feelings. This really helped me. I think if you are also going through something like this, you can take this point into consideration. The next thing that helped me is scrapbook journaling and painting. You must have seen that I've been posting shorts regularly, almost every day. Sometimes it's about journaling, sometimes it's a painting or whatsoever. This really helped me a lot. I know I'm making these into shorts, but these really genuinely helped me so much. So if you also have a hobby, and you know, sometimes you just get disconnected from the things that you love, and the only way to do that is to take your time and then slowly start it again, which really helped me. And the last thing that really helped me is this desk space. You guys know how much I love aesthetic things, and you know, the whole organized desk thing, I love that. And I have always tried to create something like that. Even when I was in Calcutta, you have seen my setup, you have seen my setup over here as well. But somehow there's just something very sweet about this particular setup that I just cannot really describe. It just feels more cozy, it just feels so much more peaceful when I am sitting over here. As you can see, the whole vibe of this setup is so pretty. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing very extraordinary, but it just makes me feel really at peace. I've also posted a YT short where we show you how we created this wall. This is like a book page wall which I always wanted, and it's so beautiful. The warm yellow lighting, this desk, and everything that I've kept here, some paintings that both of us created. So yeah, this space is something that makes me feel really positive every morning. This is where I sit and write in my journals as well, and this is the space where I sit, I work. It's very small. It's in my bedroom, and it's nothing grand or fancy, but it's just something, it's a corner where I feel like myself. So I think, you know, sometimes different corners of your house are just for different things, and sometimes you try to create a setup in a certain place, it just doesn't work out, and then in the most random place you find peace. It's something that is not very logical or rational, but it's very, I think it's in a very emotional level, you find some vibe in some place. I think that's what happened with me, because before, when we shifted in this house, there was this one room that we turned into a study room, which was like both of our desks were there, my book shelf was there, and it was just for work and office, blah blah blah. But I just never got the vibe there. Both of us, actually, when we used to sit there, we just didn't feel the vibe. It was like blah, I can't really express it. Then I took my desk space to the living room. It was really nice, but it was like, didn't feel that cozy. And then out of nowhere, just decided that I'll keep this desk in my bedroom because it will be good. I will have this, you know, personal space. And then we created this space and just randomly worked out. It just feels great. So sometimes you need that corner for yourself. So if you have the luxury of a space, of a corner that you can make like that you can just decorate and keep for yourself, you can try to do that. It will really help you a lot. Alright guys, so that was all for today's video. I really hope that you all enjoyed this video and found it valuable. It feels amazing to, you know, sit in front of the camera and talk to you guys about all these internal, emotional and beautiful things. I hope you had a wonderful time watching this video. If you did, then definitely hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe and hit the bell icon, because there are so many amazing videos coming up next. And if you have anything that you want to share with me, you can write it in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, bye bye.